The mesmerizing beauty of Kashmir has always been a fascination for nature lovers from all over the world. But as we cast a glance at past century of this land of breathtaking beauty, we come across heartrending tragedies. One of the most tragic days in history of the region was the 27th of October 1947. On this day, India, in sheer violation of international laws and principles of partition plan of the subcontinent, invaded the state of Jammu and Kashmir and occupied the region against aspirations of the Kashmiri masses. The people of Jammu and Kashmir, who had already associated their destiny with Pakistan, stood up against illegal Indian occupation. Their resilience forced India to rush to the United Nations. After a long deliberation, the United Nations granted the right of self-will to the people of Jammu and Kashmir to decide their future. India promised to hold a plebiscite in the occupied territory, but later on it backed out of its pledge and used state terrorism to subdue Kashmiris' demand to exercise their right to self-determination. Anyone who raises a voice against Indian atrocities has to face the wrath of the Modi regime. Thousands of Kashmiris, including pro-freedom leaders, human rights activists, journalists and even common masses, are languishing in Indian jails. The last 3 decades ordeal includes martyrdom of more than 96,000 Kashmiris by Indian troops for demanding freedom from India. Over 7,000 of these Kashmiris were martyred in custody. Indian atrocities have rendered more than 22,000 Kashmiri women widowed and over 107,000 children orphaned. Indian troops use molestation of women as a weapon to quash the freedom struggle of Kashmiris. Since 1989, Indian troops have molested over 11,000 Kashmiri women. Moreover, India is trying to hoodwink international community regarding freedom struggle of Kashmiris by peddling false narrative of normalcy in the region by holding sham elections. Pakistan and Kashmiris have a crystal clear stance that any elections in the disputed region can never be a substitute to plebiscite under United Nations auspices.
We wish to remind India that given the IIOJK's internationally recognized disputed status, any so-called election conducted in pursuance of the Indian election constitution carries no legal value in the eyes of international law. The relevant UN Security Council resolutions clearly state that the final disposition of Jammu and Kashmir dispute will be made in accordance with the will of the people, expressed through a UN-supervised plebiscite.
Pakistan has always rendered moral, political and diplomatic support to Kashmiri brethren and highlighted their right to self-determination on all major international fora.
Day in and day out, 900,000 Indian troops terrorized the people of occupied Jammu and Kashmir with draconian measures including prolonged curfews, extrajudicial killings, and the abduction of thousands of young Kashmiris. At the same time, in a classic settler colonial project, India is seizing Kashmiri lands and properties and settling outsiders into occupied Jammu and Kashmir in their nefarious design to transform the Muslim majority into a minority. India must reverse the unilateral and illegal measures it has taken since 5th of August 2019 and enter into a dialogue for a peaceful resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UN security resolutions and the wishes of the Kashmiri people.
On this, the 27th of October, Kashmiris in occupied territory and all over the world are observing Black Day, renewing the pledge to continue their struggle for right to self-determination. Despite resorting to bestial tactics, India has failed to diminish the love for Pakistan in the hearts of Kashmiris, and they are determined to achieve their cherished goal of accession to Pakistan.